Good morning, all. How are we? Are we all good? Are we feeling super duper and fine? Morning TikTok, morning Facebook, morning YouTube. It is Monday, the 27th of October. We're nearly done. It's Halloween week. Scary for some. Maybe the old weight loss journey shouldn't be scary for you. Not if you're following my philosophies on the old weight loss. Have you all had a good weekend? Have you done everything you wanted to do? Have you had a bit of a chill? Have you enjoyed a little bit of food freedom? And most importantly, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for another weight loss week? Face the week, smile, be happy. You could be in a lot worse place. There's someone on this planet would love to be in the same position that you're in right now. It might not feel like it to you, but there is. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. See, I'm full of the joys of autumn this morning. I'm not full of the joys of autumn. How rubbish is the weather gone? He's just capitulated. He's just gone, son it. Clock's gone back. It's dark at night time. Let's just skip autumn and let's just dive into winter. Yeah, let's just skip. Forget autumn. Autumn's overrated. Let's just go straight into winter. Anyway, there we are. It is what it is. Can't change it. It's out of our hands. We've just got to make the best of it as we can. I've had a good weekend. It's been nice and chill. What have we done this weekend? Not a lot, to be honest with you. We were meant to be out for Sunday lunch yesterday with some friends. Got cancelled. My mate Chris had a bit of an emergency with work, and he had to. He sells fighter planes. He actually do, you know. Yeah, he just sells fighter planes. And he had some people. This is generally like selling a car. Honestly, it blows my mind. It's generally like selling a car. They come round, they come and have a look at them. No, not happy with the paintwork on that. Not happy with that. Not happy with that. That needs respraying. That needs redoing. Anyway, some of his contingent that were buying some of his fighter planes yesterday, they wanted to come in on Sunday rather than Monday because they needed to go back to wherever they buy the planes from. Anyway, so we couldn't make Sunday lunch yesterday. So anyway, I think that was the reason behind it, or it was something like that. Anyway, so Sunday lunch. So we had a really chilled weekend. Rachel was out for tea on Friday night, so I had a really nice, quiet Friday night. Saturday, we went to McDonald's and tried the rest of the World Heist menu. Underwhelming overall, I think. I think it's been built up too much. The maple barbecue burger was really nice, and the desserts were really nice. But I'll be honest with you, there isn't a McFlurry that I've not really enjoyed. I love a McFlurry. But the mac and cheese bites. I tell you why the mac and cheese bites are rubbish. They weren't great anyway. I'm not saying anyone say they were good. They're quite tasteless. But if you have a Costco card, get the Paramount mac and cheese croquettes from Costco. They are calorific. I'm not saying they're something that you'll be smashing in every single day. But if you like mac and cheese, Paramount mac and cheese croquettes from Costco. OMG, they are one of the best things. If you love mac and cheese, one of the best things you'll ever eat. They are so good. So I said that to Rachel. Said we're going to compare it to them, and they were nowhere near. The shaker fries were absolutely rank. They were disgusting. Like, it's very rare. Even if it's something I get from McDonald's, I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. I'll still eat it because I paid for it. They went in the bin. And the best thing is the Sakura Sprite, which is unbelievably good. Anyway, there you go. That's my rundown. So Saturday, we just had a really chilled day. Walked the dogs in between the showers. Went for a Mackey's. Had a drive through Blackpool home. What did we do Saturday night for tea? We ate in. I had a ham butty because we had McDonald's at about 3:30. I had a ham butty and a bag of crisps. That was it. And then yesterday, we were meant to go out, so we didn't. So we got up in the morning. We were wide awake at like 7:30 because the clock's going back. Like 8 o'clock, probably, wide awake. So we got up, took the dogs out for an hour walk around the village. We had a few bits and pieces to do, need to nip to shops. Went and got a Greg's Bacon Butty. Amazing. And we were home for like half 10, 11. Nothing else to do. We just had a proper lazy day. Great. Films. Finally got to watch the end of The Monster, you know, the Ed Gein story. That was hard watching. I don't know if anyone's watched it or not, but we love like a bit like the Jeffrey Dahmer one and that. Like, don't get me wrong, I know it's a sick subject, but it was quite. I just found the egg. Don't worry, I'm not saying it wasn't a masterpiece the way it was made and the way it was done, but that was hard work. That was hard work to watch. It took us. Normally we binge watch stuff. That took us over a week to finish because it was like anyway. Yesterday we just boxed it off one after another. Done yesterday afternoon. Anyway, there we go. Let me do top 5 this morning on TikTok. Let's see who's in. Faye's in at number 1. Ray's in at number 2. Steph's in at number 3. Sheila's in at number 4. And Jam B is in at number 5. Good morning. Thank you very much for jumping straight live. Hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. Who else is in? Jem's in. Jem's tired this morning. Morning, it's half term here, so rest and lots of walk here. It's freezing. Yeah. I've kind of it's double weight loss coaching live week this week. I understand it's half term for everyone. I might move the double to next week, and I might do 2 2s in a row. Because understand with half term, people are out for the day, and I know you can watch them back. and that's the beauty of it. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do this week. I think I'm going to do a weight loss coaching live tomorrow. And it's not that. I normally do 5 p.m. on a Thursday, and I've got a physio appointment at 5. So, yeah, I'm going to do a single weight loss coaching live this week, and then I'm going to do 2 next week, and then 2 the week after. So I'll do a double. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. So, because I totally forgot it's half term, it's Halloween at the weekend. I know quite a few people have messaged me over the weekend. We're away for a few days, or we're doing this because of half term. A few people panicking a little bit because it's half term, which I'm not going to do any content on because it is just a week. It is just a week. And what I recommend, you've just got to ride the storm a little bit. Yeah, your routine's out the window. Kids are at home. There's a few bits and pieces going on. I totally get that. And I know it's not going to be the smoothest week. But, at the end of the day, what I recommend on a half-term week is just do the best you can. Stay accountable. Whatever goes on, make sure you track your calories. And then, look, let's just see where you're at the end of the week. And we have to have this mindset that, our weekly, my heart rate monitor's on. Our weekly calories, right, are an ideal deficit. And some weeks we're not going to stick to our ideal deficit. It doesn't mean you're not losing body fat. As long as you're under your maintenance, you're losing body fat. It all depends on how much you're under your maintenance. So, and this is it. You should all know your maintenance calories. All my clients do. Whether you're on plan with me or in my community, you know what your maintenance calories are. Because if your calorie allowance is not based off your maintenance calories, your calories are wrong, right? They could be too low, they could be too high. You'd be very, very lucky if you guesstimated your calories, right, without basing them off your maintenance. Your maintenance calories are the amount of calories you burn in a week, including everything: metabolism, movement, exercise, the lot, right? It's your total amount of calories you burn in a week. And what we need to do is eat less than that to lose body fat. And it doesn't matter if you're 18, 80, male, female, it doesn't matter what's going on in your body, it doesn't matter. You eat less than your maintenance, you lose body fat. And it all depends on how much below your maintenance depends on how much body fat you lose. This is 1 pound of body fat, which equates to 3,500 calories, right? So if you burn 2,500 calories in a week, that means 2,500 calories a day. That means you burn 17,500 calories a week, right? So if you eat 14,000 calories in a week, you lose one of those. And if I've got a client that burns 17,000, they'll be on 14,000 calories a week. That'll be their deficit, 2,000 a day. And you eat 14,000, you burn 17,500, you lose one of those. If you decide to eat 10,500 calories in a week, which is 1,500 calories a day, 1,000 calories a day, you'll lose 2 of these in a week. Now, there's no magic numbers here. right? If you burn 17,500 calories in a week, right, and you eat 17,000, you've lost body fat. You're 500 in the deficit. You're 500 under your maintenance. How much? 1/7. So you've probably, if you eat in a 500 calorie deficit, you probably lose this. But at least you've lost something. At least you've lost something, right? You know, you burn 17,500 calories in a week and you eat 15,750. You've lost half. You've lost all that there. That's still gone. Even though you've not quite hit your ideal deficit, you've still lost fat. So you might have half-term week. It might be a little bit busier than normal. It might be, you know, you're going out, a couple of day trips here and there, blah, blah, blah. It's Halloween, you go trick-or-treating. Next thing, the chockies are getting smashed at home, you know, on Halloween night, and this, that, and the other. The worst thing you can do is not track. Right? Honestly, you've got to stay as accountable as possible. Don't get me wrong, every now and then, because you've got a big night out or a big day out. I did this a couple of times last year and actually found it quite freeing. And I've not actually done it this year, but I'm going to in a couple of weeks, right? I didn't track for a couple of weekends. I like to complete my diary. It's a bit of an OCD thing. It's something I like to see. If I start on a Monday, I do like, unless I'm going away, get to an airport, that's the cutoff, right? But in a few weeks, I'm having a weekend away, not a weekend away, a day out with my mates, right? So our Christmas do, mates Christmas do. We're doing it a bit early because December's always a bit busy with seeing Santa and a few other bits and pieces. So we're doing it towards the end of November, right? So we're doing it towards the end of November, yeah, I don't think I'm going to track that weekend. I'm going to track Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm fully aware. I'm more than happy for it to be a maintenance weekend, but I'll have been on it for 6 weeks since getting back from holiday. Remember that, and then after that weekend, it's about 5 weeks until 4 weeks till Christmas. 5 weeks till Christmas. So it's kind of right in the middle. So it'll be just a little mini weight loss break before the running into December. And in December, we genuinely have nothing on. So Rachel's company, they give everyone 2 weeks off. They're finishing on the 23rd and then they go back on the 5th. And that's just inclusive. It's part of their contract. They have to take 3 days annual leave, right? Which is basically that little middle bit in between Christmas and New Year. They have to take that out of their holiday allowance. But other than that, they get that time off fully paid. So basically, which means they get an extra. So they get the 24th, which isn't a bank holiday. And I think this year it works out that they get the 2nd of extra, right? But because they get those extra 2 free annual leave days, and they try and get everything wrapped up because the whole place shuts down for nearly 2 weeks for Christmas. And rumors, I think they finish on the 23rd at dinner time as well. So they're going on the 23rd. They don't really work on the 23rd. They probably have a little bit of an office party, maybe get pizza or something. Rachel was saying, she was talking to one of the directors, and then they just finish and that's it. They can't take annual leave in December other than that, right? Because they get a full 2 weeks off. So it's kind of part of the contract. So they can have the odd day here and there. And I was like, well, that sorts it for us, because normally we might be tempted to do a day at the Christmas markets, or we might go away for our anniversary overnight and have a day here and there. And we're just not doing. We're just like, right, no, let's just head down in December, nothing on. Their works Christmas do is in January. Because they do it in January rather than and again, they have a works Christmas do and they give everyone the day off and they don't have to take it out of their annual leave. I think they all go into the office in the morning. And then they'll finish at dinner time and go off to, I think they go to Liverpool or something. So anyway, yeah, really, got nothing on. I've got nothing on. So really, it should be weight loss all the way up to Christmas. No reason for it not to be. So, yeah, I'm not going to track. So with half term, you know, try and stay as accountable as you can. Track as best you can. But, you know, if at the end of the week, your calorie allowance is 13,000, which means you burn 16,500, right? And you end up having 14,500, an extra 15, you're still losing body fat, right? But you won't know that unless you track. So be accountable, track. Neil with the positive vibes. Always. Mama Bear's in. Morning. Lou, Kelly. Morning. I was so excited to get back to tracking on Saturday. Love my little routine. Yeah, me too. It's absolutely, I just love that feeling of being in control. Anna, good morning. Callum, good morning. Paul is in. Morning. Had a fun weekend celebrating another hot 40th and kept in calories. Really, it's amazing. And genuinely, if you generally have a great week, do you know what? I always think sometimes we have stuff on at weekends and we're just like, oh, it's going to be really calorific, or I'm going to be really calorific. I always think it's a bit like drinking. Sometimes you're approaching the weekend and there's a mate's birthday and you've decided to be designated driver for the night, right? Or whatever, right? Or, you know, you're going out for a meal with some friends and family. And again, you might, you know, I'm going to drive. And 2 hours before you go in, you're just like, oh, why have I decided to drive tonight? I really fancy a beer. Right? Oh, mate, no, I'm going to keep up. No, I'm going to drive. So I've said I'll pick such and such up. We don't need to. We've not pre-ordered taxis or anything like that, right? This that, and the other. And literally in your mind say, I really fancy a beer. Anyway, you go out, you pick your friends up, you go for the meal, you have the meal, you wake up Sunday morning, and you're absolutely buzzing. You're absolutely buzzing that you didn't decide to have a drink because you feel great. Sunday's all good. Life's absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the same with sometimes we approach situations with weekends and we're just like, oh, it's going to be dead calorific, right? And you kind of dread it a little, and you shouldn't, right? You should never dread anything. Anything should be no guilt around it or anything like that. But I think if you go and have a weekend and you generally have enjoyed yourself, right? And especially the way I coach weight loss, because you can rein it in during the week. You can really rein it in during the week sometimes. You know, if you've got a big weekend, Saturday, Sunday this week, right? Your calories might be 2,000 a day. I always use that number because it's dead easy, right? And during the week, normally you bank 1,750 a day, right? You eat 1,750, and that banks 250 a day, which gives you an extra 1,250. So Saturday you've got 2,750. Sunday you've got 2,500. So you've got a nice bit of food freedom there. You can enjoy a takeaway, a meal out. I'm not saying you can just start eat what you want for the whole weekend. You can't, but you've got some nice flexibility and freedom there with your eating. The odd week, and I don't recommend doing this week in, week out because it's flipping hard, right? But the odd week, if you've got a very calorific weekend, like Regan there had a fella's 40th, right? She could have eaten 1,500 a day. Right, 1,500 a day, right? And then by the time you get Saturday, she's banked 2,500 calories for the weekend. Now, eating 1,500 a day can be tough. It can be really tight. Now, some of you might be sat there going, well, that's my calorie allowance, right? Well, it's not. So that's, you know, again, calorie allowances are relative to calorie burns, yeah? So, you know, and if you want to eat more than 1,500 a day, move more. It really is that. It is that straightforward. But, you know, and you bank 2.5. Next thing, you could have 3,500 on Saturday and 3,000 on Sunday. That's a good amount of calories, and you can still have a really good time whatever you're doing, right? For that amount of calories, you genuinely can, right? So, and I think it's great if you go, and I love it, mate. I don't do it, you know, like when I'm going out with my mates, I'm not going to track. I'm going to have a bit of, but I have had weekends where we've gone out, even if it's gone out for a meal and a couple of drinks, and just banked a few extra during the week, made some slightly better conscious decisions at the weekend, and you come out the weekend all within calories. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to do that week in, week out because it's a bit tougher. It's not as subconscious as weight loss should be, but it just proves you can still really enjoy life here and there and lose weight at the same time, and lose a decent amount of weight at the same time. Been a couple of days here with Liam. He always struggles with this. Do you know what? I'll hold my hands up. I was in a foul mood yesterday. Right? You might be like, you, Neil? No, you're always dead positive. Ask Rachel. And there was nothing. And what did make it work was Rachel asking me, why are you in a bad mood? Why are you in a bad mood? I'm like, you asking me why I'm in a bad mood, he's making me in more of a bad. Just leave me alone for a bit. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you can't explain it. Sometimes just having a bit of a down day. Rachel takes it very personal against herself. So if I'm not all full of the joys of spring, Rachel just automatically goes, it's my fault. So I want to know why. And I'm like, I can't explain it. I just don't feel 100% today. And I think I woke up this morning and I generally think two things, right? I hate change. So we planned yesterday out. We're going out for a meal with friends and this, that, and the other. And generally it was fine, but I don't like my routine being changed. So I think that triggered me. And the weather yesterday, it was like, I think it was just that clocks have gone back. It's going to be dark from 5 o'clock. It was peeing it down. It was miserable. And I think it was a sad. I think it was a bit of seasonal affective disorder just taking over. And I was just in a bit of a mood from it. Right. And like I say, Rachel kept pecking to find out why. And I'm like, I can't explain it. It's nothing personal to you. It's nothing personal. I just don't feel 100%. I can't feel 100% every day, be full of the joys of spring every single day. I said, I'll snap out of it. I always do. Anyway, but I was just in a, and I think that's the reason. I think that was the reason. It is just like, honestly, I love taking the dogs for a walk, but it does just make it more of a chore this time of year. It really does. Doesn't mean I won't do it. Doesn't mean. And my steps have suffered. My steps were, I say they weren't great. They were all right last week. I think I averaged, I normally aim 11,000. My target's always 10. That'll never change. And I think I did 10,700 last week, daily average, which is fine. It's a good amount of steps. It's a decent level of movement. But it was definitely affected by sat here now just hearing loads of geese, kind of like they're going down south for the winter. The lucky monkeys, no, the geese now. Anyway, yeah, and I think it kicked me yesterday. Stefan, good morning. YouTube, Kevin, good morning. Yasmin's in. Good morning. Looking forward to a better week. Yeah, Yasmin had a bit of a tough week. It will be a better week, Yasmin. It will be. It will be. If you want it to be, it will be. Jordan, hi. Good morning on Facebook. Hope you're all good. Yeah, the shake fries were awful. Absolutely disgusting. I saw so many people online say they were like, they just taste like sour cream Pringles. They really didn't. They really didn't. Becky's in. Good morning, Peter P. Good morning, mate. Had the McDonald's. Loved the maple barbecue burger, but my stomach hated me after eating it. I took a patty off. What? Neil, you've changed. I did. I genuinely did. I took a patty off and gave it to the dogs. Because I said to Rachel, that burger's nearly 1,000 calories. And I said, I don't want a double, whether that takes away from the experience of it. So I whipped one of the burgers off. I just ate it as a single burger and just tracked it as a quarter pounder. Obviously, it had a bit more sauce on it than a quarter pounder, but tomato. But it was decent. It was decent. And we didn't overeat it, actually, because we weren't a massive fan of everything. We literally got a maple. I got the maple barbecue burger. Rachel doesn't like maple syrup, so she wasn't sure whether she'd like it or not. She just got a McChicken sandwich. So she had a bite of my burger. I had a bite of her McChicken sandwich, and I ate that. We got one shaker fries, which ended up in the bin, so we didn't have any fries. We got the mac and cheese bites. Rachel had one. I ate the 3. I wasn't a massive fan. We got 6 nuggets. I don't mind the nuggets. They're not as good as the original. Look, the standard original McDonald's nuggets are always going to be the best. Rachel had 2. I had 2. We saved 2 for the dogs. I didn't feel like I needed any more. And then we got a mini McFlurry each and then 1 pie, which we split. So we actually didn't overeat it at all. We didn't overeat it at all. So, and yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people always find, so I never have any issues. I am, honestly, I think I'm a cow with 4 stomachs. And I think one bit of it goes into one bit of it. I know so many people are like, oh, I ate that, it made me really bloated. I ate that, oh, it just sat heavy. I never really have that issue. Maybe it's because my stomach's just used to eating so much food. I have no idea. But there are certain things that can just lie a little bit heavy at times. But I was actually hungry. I said to Rachel, I said, I could still eat. I'm still like hungry. Anyway, I resisted. A couple hours later, I had a ham butty. The maple burger was yummy. Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. I did think it was decent. It's not as good as the Philly cheese stack. I still think that's the best, like, special burger McDonald's have done. The last Philly cheese stack burger, such a good burger. I was a bit disappointed with the new McDonald's menu, to be honest. Yeah, I think overall, I think it was a little bit of a. I think it was built up so much because it is something totally different, and it was really cool. I'm glad they've done it because it was really, really cool. Look, at the end of the day, McDonald's isn't the healthiest thing in the world, but most people love a Mackey's, right? And it was something a little bit different. And they've just, I thought the maple burger was decent, and actually, I think that overall is probably slightly better than the McSpicy. I can't remember if I rated it higher than the pineapple McSpicy. If they grilled the pineapple on the pineapple McSpicy, and I think the pineapple McSpicy would have been better just as a McCrispy, pineapple McCrispy. I generally do. I think the spice took away from the sweetness of what it was trying to do. Just my opinion. Are you critiquing? Are you delving into McDonald's a bit? It's a flipping McDonald's. I know. Anyway, I saw yesterday the next McDonald's drop, and it's only out for a couple of weeks. This 25th of November is a Grinch. Is a Grinch drop. I think there's like a Grinch drink, a Grinch pie, is what I've heard at McDonald's. I think the shaker fries again. What flavour are the new shaker fries? I can't remember. The cheese melts are back, which are ace. Anyway, I will be reviewing it. So ill, Neil, but after work. You don't have to work. Not if you're ill. It's called being employed. Ring them up. I'm sick. I'll be back tomorrow. James, yeah, don't do that. Not in this weather, mate. You're just going to make yourself worse. You honestly are. You've heard it from me. Stay in bed, mate. Rest up. It's so difficult to motivate through the winter. Yeah, to be fair, I'm all right. I think everyone gets affected by seasonal affective disorder, and I don't think I don't think we realize it. I don't think we realize it. Just yesterday, like just having a bit of a mood here and there, right? I just think we all get affected by it in certain way, shape, or form. Today, I'm absolutely fine. Right, it is what it is. I had a good night's sleep last night. It is what it is. I'm fully recharged, ready for the weekend, right? And yeah, I think we all get affected by it. I just think some people get affected by it worse than others. January for me is the worst because we get Halloween out of the way, get bonfire night out of the way, and then I kind of get into Christmas mode a little bit because I started doing Christmas. I'm going to start doing, probably from next week, we'll start doing Christmas content. I need to plan out the weight loss coaching lives and what Christmas content I'm going to do with those. I'm going to start doing some full-on Christmas content reviews, little bits for TikTok and Reels, a little bit for worth the calories. So we'll start, you know, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do, I was talking about this last week on one of my lives saying, I wanted to do like a new channel, which was a food review channel and just going about and reviewing food and, but with a weight loss slant on it, where, you know, even if I go to an independent viral spot, you know, I try and guesstimate the calories of what I'm eating and then is it worth those? So I'll rate it. So, because the worth the calories rating, you know, when you say it's worth the calories, it's like, does it taste good for 900 calories? But I also take things into account like price. I take things into account like volume, which obviously is part of it, taste, maybe other little things like fiber and stuff like that. So there's a few different, it's just basically a little spin on a food review, right? And, you know, but ultimately is, am I happy spending 600 calories on that item? So I thought about doing a new food channel called The Fat Loss Foodie, where I just go out and about. And I thought one afternoon a week, just to get me out of the office, I'll jump in the car and I'll drive within an hour and a half of where I live. So it will be a full afternoon out, you know, hour and a half there, eat some food, hour and a half back, record it, edit it, and put it on. But then a few of you guys commented with very sensible comments, like, you know, could you not make that as part of the RLB channel? This, that, and that. And when thinking about it, I was like, yeah, to try and run two channels. I ain't got time to run one channel. If I did this full time, if I did content creation full time, yeah, I probably could run two channels, but I don't. I've got you guys that are on plan with me in the community, you know, that takes up a chunk of time as well. So I'm not going to do that. I've scrapped it. Though I'm going to set up a new series called Worth the Calories on Tour. Right? Like the Grand Tour, Top Gear. Worth the Calories on Tour. And that is going to be me either in a restaurant, in a takeaway, in the car, wherever, sat on a park bench reviewing foods. So when I start doing the Christmas bits and pieces, so I might start reviewing Christmas stuff from supermarkets that's to have at home, your party foods, like I did the lobster the other week, right? And that'll be part of the worth the calories thing. But then when McDonald's bring their Christmas menu out, when KFC bring their Christmas menu out, Greg's, anything else, I'll go, I'll grab it, I'll review it, and I'll do a longer form video for YouTube, but then I'll snip it down and I can put it on Reels. So yeah. So we're going to be launching the Boss My Takeaway. That absolutely crossed my mind, Peter P, because obviously Rate My Takeaway shut down now, hasn't it? And I was like, should I jump on the bandwagon of that? Take a table, take a chair, and I was like, no, that's just copyright infringement. I don't know if they've got a trademark over it. I want my own slant on it. But yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to start doing a worth the calories on tour. So yeah, so I'll need your help. I need you guys to point out different, like anything that you want me to go and try. And just, obviously, if it's from a chain like Greg's, the calories are always going to be there, even if it's a limited item or Mackey's or KFC or anything like that. The calories are always going to be knocking about, right? But if it's an independent, you might be like, oh, we go to this smash burger place. Like, to start off with, it needs to be local. All right. To start off with, it needs to be within an hour of my house, really. So Manchester, I say there's I can hit Manchester, Liverpool, anywhere up to like past Lancaster way. I could probably hit Blackburn. I've got Blackpool, Preston. I've got loads in this area. But any spots that you love, any butty shops, any like things that you think are amazing, you've got to let me know what I need to go and try. And I'll try. And you might be like, oh, I love going to Aladdin's Kebabs in Blackburn, right? And I always get the special sheesh mix, but I never know how to track it. I'll go get it. I'll work out the calorie. I'll look at it. It's always going to be a bit of a guesstimate. It's always going to be a bit of a guesstimate, but I'll get it. I'll have a look at it. I'm pretty damn good at working out calories, right? I've done it for a lot of years and I'm very experienced in it. So I go, right, all right, we've got a large, it comes with a large pitta, 180 calories, maybe 200 at a push. It's all grilled chicken. I've watched how it's been made. It's grilled chicken breast. It's grilled lamb neck will be the sheesh, right? So, and I reckon there's 200 grams of chicken on there. That's 220. There's 200 grams of lamb on there. Lamb neck's pretty lean. So that's 350. So that's 550, 200. So we're at 750 here. Right. Salads. We'll just chuck that in as 50 calories. Right. We've got a pot of sauce here. That's a creamy mayo, but it's never, mayo-based sauce. There's probably 150 calories in there. Garlic sauce, chili sauce isn't too bad, doesn't it? And I'll work it all out, right? I'll work it all out. Yeah, I'll work it all out. And I go, right, Aladdin's mixed cheese special. I'm guesstimating that as 1,100 calories, right? I'm guesstimating that as 1,100 calories. And let's rate it, and I'll tell you if it's worth 1,100 calories. You then might be like, well, how do I then track that? Well, in NutriCheck, there's an amazing feature called Quick Add, right? Dead simple, right? Now, with that, you could, I might even do it where I go into my NutriCheck and I track it all, and I'll create the meal. I'll put it into snacks. I'll just call it that. I'll just put it in snacks, and I'll call it Aladdin shit. And maybe, how about I do that? How about I do that? I track it in NutriCheck, and then when I post the video on YouTube, I'll put the link into track. And I know that's only going to help a very small number of people, but you might be like, Neil said that's a 9.5 out of 10 kebab. Let's drive and try it, and then I can just go onto Neil's video and click the NutriCheck link and track it. So maybe I'll do that. But there's an amazing feature on NutriCheck called Quick Add, right? I've started using it for Rachel. So Rachel doesn't really track her macros at all. I don't track my macros, but I do like having a look back over time. And, if I've had a couple of weeks where I've been struggling with my hunger, I'll have a look at protein and fiber. And if I notice that that's like a little bit lower than my average, I'll try and eat a bit more protein and fiber, so on and so forth. But Rachel, I used to create, like, I'd have my tea. I make me and Rachel the same thing, but Rachel's portion was always smaller than mine. And then what I'd do is I'd create the meal and then WhatsApp it her, and then she can just copy it in. Now we just use QuickAdd. So I'll track my tea, right? And let's say tonight I'm having a chicken dinner. I'll track my tea. I'll then copy that to tomorrow's tea. I'll then adjust it to Rachel's portion, and then I'll go, right, Rach, this is your tea. And she just goes into your main diary, 3-line hamburger at the top right, click that, click QuickAdd. Yours, Rachel's 530 calories. And I'll tell her the protein, 38 grams of protein, thingy, and you just go ding, 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 and add it in. There you go. Just name it and add it in. Doesn't save it. All right. You'd have to do that every time. You'd have to do that every time, right? So it doesn't save it like a save menu, so it's there to track every time. But like tonight, Rachel just go, right, roast chicken dinner, 580 calories, 40 grams of protein, 10 grams of fiber, add. That's it. And I'll just read it out to her and she'll just write it in. So the QuickAdd feature is absolutely brilliant. So let's say you're getting some new foods, like something brand new's coming to Aldi today, and you scan it and they've not Nutracheck. Nutracheck are pretty good. It's normally within there within 48 hours, but Nutracheck haven't entered it into their food diary yet. You can just look at the nutritional label, go to QuickAdd, type it in, add it in, bang, track it. It takes seconds. Yeah, use that QuickAdd feature. It's absolutely amazing. What would you say is your favorite tea that's great in protein and fiber? Roast dinner. Nothing better. Absolutely nothing better. I'll tell you now, this is my tea tonight. Now, obviously, this is my portion, and I'll track it now. I've got a roast chicken dinner saved about 1 million times in my app because it's my absolute go-to. Why am I not signed in? Hashtag. Nearly read my password out then. Very nearly. Very, very nearly. Right, let me let me track my tea. Okay, and I'll tell you the protein and fiber in it. In fact, let me track Rachel's portion, because Rachel eats 1,800 calories a day on average. She should be eating more, but she won't listen to me, even though I'm a world famous Wales coach. I'm joking about that world famous bit, by the way. But we don't get into it too much. She's happy eating 1,800 a day on average, right? And she eats 1,500, or tries to stick around 1,500 Monday to Friday, and that banks of 1,500 calories. And then she's got like 2,800 for Saturday, and then 2,300 for Sunday. It's not ridiculous. That's why I don't get involved. Rachel burns with her movement in her gym and everything, she burns 2,500 calories a day. So again, it's not ridiculous, but she just puts herself, for me personally, for her current weight, she just puts herself into too much of a calorie deficit. But this will be Rachel's tea tonight, right? So she doesn't eat dark meat off chicken; she just eats chicken breast, and she will have, this would be raw weight, 150 grams. I'm getting a whole roast chicken and weighing it. How do I know? I've bought these chickens so many times. I've never weighed a raw chicken breast. I've weighed it cooked, and I know how much moisture they lose over cooking. Just take my word for it. It's 150 grams. All right, and then potatoes, homemade roast potatoes. Leave the skin on. Right, so you want potatoes raw, unpeeled. And Rachel will have 250 grams of those badges, right, for 193 calories. All right, and then veg tonight is we are having curly kale, which I roast in the air fryer. Absolutely sensational, right? And I think I've got a 200 gram. We're going to have quite a lot of it. We're going to have 100 grams each because I've got a 300 gram bag and it needs eating. We've had a bit of it out of it already. All right, so let's put that in. Carrots, again, leave the skin on. All right. And we're going to have 150 grams of carrots for 51 calories. We're having a Yorkshire pudding, which is Aldi's beef dripping, which are absolutely amazing. Now, they've changed. I need to message Nutracheck. Aldi's beef dripping Yorkshire puddings used to be 145 calories. They're now at 117. Why? Because they've made them slightly smaller but kept the price the same. All right. So they used to be 60 grams, and I think they're now 50 grams. Right. Just something to watch. You always have a little look. Right. And then Bisto. I'll just make Bisto gravy. And Rachel will have about 150 ml of that. What we got there. So that is Rachel's tea tonight. It'll be 599 calories. All right. 51 grams of protein and 17 grams of fiber. Why skin on carrots? Does it have more? Fiber is only in the skin, generally, right? Fiber is in the skin. It's in the skin of the potatoes. It's in the skin of the carrots. Yeah, anything where you eat the skin is where the goodness is. And that's with any fruit and veg, really. I am not saying there is not goodness in fruit that you might peel, right? I'm not saying that, but more often than not, it's like a kiwi, right? Eat the skin of a kiwi. You might not like that furry texture. That is where all the goodness is in the skin. So, yeah, honestly, all the goodness. So, never peel your spuds, never peel your carrots. If you want to wash them. But just chop your carrots up, boil them. Yeah, never peel your parsnips. No, if you're having swede or turnip, peel that stuff because it's like chewing leather. Yeah, you don't have like a butternut squash or something like that. But a lot of the goodness is in the skin, and that's the same with any fruit. That's why berries are so good for us. You don't peel it. You don't sit there peeling a blueberry, do you? You eat the blueberry. You eat the strawberry. You eat the raspberry. You eat it as it comes off the tree. Same with an apple. Orange is a little bit different. Yes, you peel the skin of an orange, but all the stuff inside it that holds all the segments together, full of goodness. And then you've got other fruits like mango and pineapple, your citrusy fruits that you have to peel. That's why they're not quite as nutrient dense as your berries, as your apples, your oranges, your kiwis. So yeah, leave the skin on everything if you can, right? Honestly, that's where you get stuff. I gained £4 on holiday, a bit back on it from today. Steph, that's nothing. It'll be gone in a week. I hope you had a great holiday. Yeah, saves the job. Absolutely, it saves the job. Honestly, I get this. I don't even wash stuff. I boil it. I cook it. It kills everything. I don't want like carrots. I open up the packet. I get them out. I chop them up. I'm cooking them in a pan of boiling water for like 8 minutes. Nothing surviving that. Kills everything, right? So people are like, wash your carrots first before boiling them. They're going into a pan of boiling water, right? After they've been in a pan of boiling water, they get chewed in here and go into a vat of acid in my stomach. We're all good. Right? Same with spuds. Spuds, open the packet up, chop them up. I nuke them in the microwave for like 5 or 6 minutes, slightly softens them, heats them up, drizzle of oil, bit of salt, coat the potatoes in salt and oil, bang, 15 minutes, air fryer, 200, great roast potatoes, right? Nothing surviving at 200 degrees C. Yeah, you're killing it all. Yeah. Eating more, gaining slowly. Now I need to stop gaining. No, you don't need to stop gaining. I don't think you do, Stacey. I don't think you do. Right? Don't get me wrong. You don't want to regress, but I generally don't think you need to stop gaining. What you need to understand is if you're eating more, yeah, you're not gaining fat. You're just increasing your average food and water weight in your system, and you do not need to stop that. It is a natural process by the body, right? So stop thinking weight gain is fat gain. It isn't. To everyone out there, weight gain on the scales, I'll shout it from the back. Weight gain on the scales does not always mean fat gain, right? It really, really doesn't. And too many people, oh my God, the scales have gone up 2 pounds. It's like, Steph, there, I've come back from holiday, I've gained 4 pounds. How much of that? You've gained 4 pounds of weight. You ain't gained 4 pounds of fat. And that's why I just said to Steph, it'll be gone in a week. Why? Because 2 to 3 pounds of that easily will be water weight, food weight, water retention. Because you've been on holiday, you're a bit dehydrated, you've eaten a bit more food. Steph might have gained a pound or so of body fat, right? But if she gets back on it from today, she's back into a calorie deficit. She's back into a normal routine. Her average food weight, water weight will reduce, and she'll lose a pound of body fat. She's in the 3,500. There you go. Holiday weight gone. Yeah. So we have to understand, we've got to get this into our head. The scales measure your weight. They don't measure your fat, right? This is why we call it weight gain. How do we know if it's fat gain? If they consistently go up over weeks. So if you're currently 9 stone 10, right, and you've been under eating, right, and you've decided to eat a bit more, increase your calories, increase your volume of food, your weight is going to increase, right? And at some point in time, it will then plateau out. Right? It will. You're still going to get your fluctuations, but eventually it'll plateau out. So you might go from 9 stone 10 to 10 stone, 10 stone 1, 10 stone 2. Right? It will plateau out. Once it plateaus out, yes, you still might get a bump where you go to 10.6. You still might come down to 10, right? Those are your daily fluctuations. They just happen, right? You can't change them. It's a natural process by the body, yeah? Now, if you decide to start eating more, right, increasing your calories, moving food, and you were 9 stone 10, and you get to 10 stone, then 10.2, and then in a month's time, not in a week, a month's time, you're 10.3, and then in another month, you're 10.5, and then in another month, you're 10. Right, now there's a chance you might be eating in a calorie surplus. A chance you're eating in a calorie surplus because your weight's steadily increasing. It's not just gone up. It's not a fluctuation. It's a steady, we can see a trend, right? And therefore we know that, right, now we might just need to rein it in a little bit and be a little bit more controlled. But no, there's a massive difference between weight gain and fat gain. We've got to learn that, and we've got to get it right in our heads. Yeah. You explained daily fluctuations so well. Thank you, Zay. Not a problem at all. It's 10,000 steps in addition to heavier gym days, etc. Thanks. It's not in a right. So we get very wrapped up, like Stacey there, very scale focused. The scales are going up. I'm getting fatter. No, you're not. Absolute nonsense. You can only get fatter if you're eating a calorie surplus. And I know Stacey, even though I'm glad she's eating more, she ain't eating in a calorie surplus, right? Stacey's average food weight recently will have been like this because I know what she's been eating. She's been telling me on our sessions because she's part of my community, right? And now she's eating a little bit more. That's going up, and it should be going up, right? It should be, yeah. And I'm happy to see it. Why we do movement, right? The main reason, yeah, all right. Let's break it down. Steps is number one. Right, so we burn calories in 3 ways. We burn calories in 4 ways, but I personally look at 3 ways and only calculate calories using 3 ways. Number one is our metabolism. That's always going to be our biggest calorie burn, right? Unless potentially you're an athlete and you're training 10 hours a day, right? Our metabolism is going to be our biggest calorie burn. My metabolism is 2,000. I burn 3,500 calories in a day, and my metabolism is 2,500, right? So what percentage of my calorie burn is that? Got a brand new purple. Purple's my favorite color, by the way. All about the color match. Right, so 2,500. It's a great calculator. Divided by 3,500. Right, so 72% of my calorie burn, right, is just my metabolism. 72%. It's just me sat here, just burning calories on a day-to-day basis to survive. On top of that, we then burn calories through everyday movement. Right? Technical term is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Right? I just call it everyday movement, steps. Right? And that could be walking around Tesco, Aldi, walking the kids to school, walking the dog, walking around the house, tidying up, cleaning, cooking, going to the tip, doing a bit of gardening, putting the bins out. All that is everyday movement. It's just things we do on a day-to-day basis. Going to the toilet, walking to the office, walking around the office, walking back to the car, walking to the train station. That's just everyday movement. We're just doing movement because it's to do an everyday activity, right? And why we want a good level of everyday movement? The main reason is always going to be physical health, mental health, but we do have to take into account the more calories we burn on a day-to-day basis, the bigger our overall calorie burn is, and therefore the more calories we can eat on a day-to-day basis and still be in a calorie deficit, right? And your appetite does not increase in line with doing more movement. It genuinely doesn't, right? So if I do 2,500 calories, now your appetite might slightly increase if you've been a lazy so-and-so and you start moving more. You might notice a little change, but more often than not, it's psychological. But our body adapts to what we do. So if I did 3,000 steps a day, and that's what my body was used to doing, right? And then I started doing 10,000 steps a day consistently. And that's what my appetite won't be any different to whether I'm doing 3,000 or 10,000, but my calorie burn is, right? And that's the same with, and steps is just the easiest way to increase our calorie burn. So if you're currently a lazy so-and-so and you're doing 3,000, 4,000 steps, and that we have to accept that, right? That is really sedentary level of movement. Now, I'm not talking to people that are disabled. I'm not talking to people that have mobility issues. I'm not talking to those people that physically are unable to do a large amount of steps. But I am talking to people that are the only reason they don't do a good amount is because they can't be bothered. I'm talking to you. I've been there. I used to be that person. That's why I can talk so openly. I'm not Mr. Mr. Motivator, Mr. Flipping G.I. Joe, that from the minute I was born, I was doing 10,000 steps a day. And why don't you do 10,000 steps a day? What's wrong with you? But I understand it. I used to be 50, I used to struggle to do 1,000 steps a day, right? But part of that struggle was me being a lazy so-and-so. And when I actually accepted that I'm just a lazy sod at times, right? And I need to pull my socks up, that motivated me on to stop being a lazy sod at times. Anyway, your 10,000 steps a day, for me at my current weight, burns about 700 calories. About 700 calories a day, right? 10,000 steps a day is about an hour and a half of movement, right? And I burn, about 200 calories in half an hour of walking. I'm a big guy, I'm carrying a bit of timber around, and I'm tall, so my calorie burn is slightly higher than it because my heart's got further. For my heart to pump blood to here and to my toes at 6'5", my heart has to work a little bit harder than someone that's 5'2". That's all part of increasing calorie burn. So mine's about 700. So I burn 3,000. So my steps, makes up 20%. 20% of my overall calorie burn, right? And steps are just, there's no excuses with them. There's no excuses with them. My car breaks down today. I can't go to the gym. I still get steps in, I end up financially restricted for whatever reason. I've got to cancel my gym membership because it is I don't class a gym membership as a luxury, but it is, and it's not a necessity in terms of council tax, gas, electric, mortgage. Yeah. So if for whatever reason I can't afford my monthly gym membership, right, I still get steps in. Worldwide pandemic hits and every single business in the country shuts down. You still get steps in, right? You can always get steps in. Yeah. So that's why our emphasis should be on those steps. And then, should we exercise? Yeah. But we put way too much emphasis. I train 6. So this week I will train 6 days, right? I'm going to go to the gym in about 15 minutes, right? And I will do 15 minutes cross trainer, 30-minute weights. I'm in and out, 45 minutes. I don't mess about. I do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off with weights. So I put my timer on my watch and I put it on 30 seconds and I don't turn it off for the whole workout, right? So as soon as I finish doing a set, I hit reset and it ticks down for 30 seconds. As soon as it buzzes, I do my next set. So I train quite intensely, right? I don't lift heavy. If I lifted heavy, I'd need bigger weight. I need bigger rest periods than that, but I don't lift heavy. Or if I do lift heavy, I do small. Sometimes it's just 5 or 6 reps a set. Sometimes it's 4, right? Because I'm not giving my body enough time to recover. It's just the way I like to train, Anyway, right? But so I will do that type of training 4 times this week. I will also, well, I'll do weights 5 times this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll do 15 minutes cross trainer before my weights. Tomorrow, I'll do 30-minute weights, and I'll then teach my 45-minute spin class. And then Saturday morning, 45-minute spin. That is my training a week. That burns about 2,000 calories, right? Which is 8%. So, and that's why I don't put much emphasis. So I train 6 days a week, and it only makes up 8% of my total calorie burn. So is the 10,000 steps in addition? No, right? That lifting heavier weights, how you should have worded that, Zay, is going to the gym and exercising in addition to doing 10,000. If you're going to the gym 3 days a week and you're not doing 10,000 steps a day, get your priorities straight. Hit the basics, hit the essentials, then put your exercise in. And I mean that. Nail the basics. Right. And you might be like, well, I've not got time to. Well, take some of the time out that you're going to get your steps in. Get those habits in, those habits that will never leave you. Right. There's always going to be the odd, even when I'm on holiday, right, I get my steps in. Right. I don't track calories, but I aim to get my steps in. Right. So generally nail the basics. Now, for me, 10,000 steps there on average, 2 gym sessions a week should be achievable for most. It should be, if physically fit and able to do it, right? Because, and everyone that says they don't, then I'm sorry, how much Netflix are you watching? How many hours are you spending flicking through TikToks? Go into your settings now. What's your average screen time on your phone? Because what is a phone for, right? And don't get me wrong, I spend hours on my phone. I work on it, right? But a phone is for ringing people, messaging people, right? You might be doing a few other bits and pieces. Right? How many hours do you flick through TikTok for 2 hours here, 2 hours there? And I do it. I'm not criticizing it. I do it myself, right? But I don't make up the excuses. I've not got time to do anything, right? Because I do. I make the time, So, and again, I'm not trying to say everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day, because if I was going to say everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day, I'd be telling you to go to the, not everyone's got the time that I've got to go to the gym every week. I fully understand that. I 100% understand that, right? But remember, with steps, it's not about doing a specific walk. Someone said, well, I haven't got time to go for an hour and a half walk every day. I understand that as well. Steps is about pockets of time, right? It's about doing these little pockets of time, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. What do you do where you could be getting more steps in? If you drive to work, where do you park? If you drive to the supermarket, where do you park? Right? If you've got, if you need a pint of milk from the local shop, that's a 30-second walk, right? Sorry, that's a 30-second drive or a 3-minute walk. Do you walk or do you jump in the car on a Sunday? I did it on Friday, right? I literally on Friday, Rachel messaged me saying, oh, I've sold something on Vinted. It's on the kitchen side. I told her I'd post it today. Can you run it round to the shop? All right. And I was like, yeah, not a problem. And I grabbed the car keys. And my corner shop is a 1.5 minute walk from where to me every shop. 1.5 minute walk. And I grabbed the car keys. And I was literally like, what are you doing? And I didn't. I walked to the shop and back. 3 minutes of walking, maybe 4 at a push, is 300-400 steps. Some people might think, well, it's pointless. You might as well go, no, it's 300-400. If I can get 300-400 steps in just by those little changes 10 times a day, that's 4,000 steps in. Most people burn 2,000 to 3,000 steps anyway. So it's just about getting your priorities right. Yeah. I'm going for my 20K walk soon. No gym either, down 48 pounds. Yeah, look, you don't have to gym. And going for a 20K walk, that's a 3-hour walk. Right? It depends on how fit you are and how fast you walk. You can probably do it a little bit quicker than that if you're quite a quick walker. But that's a big walk. Again, not everyone can do that. I ain't got time to do that. I'm too busy. I don't mind saying I'm too busy. I'm not too busy to do 10,000 steps a day and hit the gym a few times a week, but I'm too busy to walk for 3 hours at a time. Saturday, Sunday, yeah, do it on a Saturday. We do it on a Sunday quite often. We go to the beach for an hour. I'm not. We don't do 20,000. My knees would just hate me if I did that. But do you know what I mean? So yeah, get you. So is the 10,000 steps in addition to heavier gym days, etc.? No, heavier gym days should be in a session in addition to doing 10,000 steps. Just get your priorities right, is all I'm saying. Right? And now a really important thing though is if you're sat there now and I've triggered you a little bit, good, right? Because when we get triggered a little bit, it's because we've touched a nerve. And when we've touched a nerve, it gives us a bit of a reality check, right? And I mean that, right? It is a reality check to it's kind of like and that's why people do get triggered. I'll do some content and people get quite defensive about it. And I'm like, I've triggered you, but I'm glad I've triggered you because deep down it's giving you a thought process that really I need to change things up a bit. And whether you change things up again next week or in a month's time or in 6 years' time, something will ring true. I've been triggered so many times when I was fat, right? I'm not saying I'm skinny now, but there were so many things where I go, well, it's all right for you. You can do this. It's all right for them. They can do well, not special. Just because they decide to prioritize doing something that you don't want to prioritize doing and you should be doing. So it is what it is. But do not run before you can walk. Anyone that's sat there now going, yes, I am one of them lazy so-and-sos that just does 3,000 steps a day because I can't be bothered. Don't be like, Neil, I've done 10,000 steps a day the rest of the week. Why? Everything we do needs to be done so it becomes a subconscious habit, right? It shouldn't be a constant thought process all the time because anything that's don't get me wrong, you've got to put effort into weight loss, but anything that's like, I need to get my steps in, I need to get my steps in, I need to get my steps in, it'll just become a chore. And anything that becomes a chore isn't a healthy habit, right? You need to find a way to get your movement in. How I'll do my 10,000 steps today is I'll do 15 minutes on the cross trainer at the gym. I'm going to go to Aldi shopping and I'm going to walk the dogs twice. Plus there'll be other little bits and pieces knocking about, but the main bulk of my steps will be 15 minutes cross trainer. I've started walking the dog separate. Right? I walk the dog separate. So 2 20-minute dog walk. So it'll be 15 minutes cross trainer, a 40-minute dog walk, and then a 15, maybe 20-minute dog walk later on this evening. That's it. That's how I get my steps in, right? And it is a subconscious habit. The dogs won't walk in twice a day, right? I'd always just jump on the cross trainer. I jump on the cross trainer for my fitness, but I also jump on as doing a bit of cardio and as a warm-up, but it gets steps in. I've got Aldi. I'll park as far away from the entrance as I can, and I'll walk in. Right. So these are and that'll be the same today, same tomorrow, same Wednesday, same Thursday, same Friday. Saturday, my steps tend to drop a little bit because I just do spin. I don't do cross trainer, but we'll do a couple of dog walks. But sometimes we can be a little bit like, nah. And then normally Sunday we pick them back up again because we'll do a bit of a longer walk with the dogs. But it does depend on the weather a little bit as well. I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, rain, wind. We're geared up. We were taking the dogs to the beach yesterday, and I opened up the back door and it was lashing it down. And I don't mind walking in any weather, but when you take the dogs to the beach, and we don't let them go in the sea or anything because the sand, especially because they're both hypoallergenic, is it? Basically, they don't molt. They've got Betty's got a double coat. Blossie's got a really tight, like poodle type coat. The sand just gets buried in. If it's a lab, like you can literally hose a lab off. Hose them off when you get home and the sand will come out. But they're a nightmare when they get wet. So we just were like, and we would have done that and we just ended up going around the village for half an hour. And then we went out later on again for 15 minutes, I'm just a lazy son. We know that. Yeah, but you're always trying, Callum. You're always trying and you're always very honest and open about it. And the issue you can only fix a problem when you know you've got it. And at some point in time, something will click because we know you can do the steps. Like when we do the challenge, and you've already said, like, you breaking your steps up through the day just doesn't seem to work for you, because you might get to like, some people might get to like 6 o'clock at night and they've only done 4,000 steps and they just feel like it's a bit of a mountain to climb. Whereas you've literally said, I just like getting my steps done early in the morning. Same with me with training. A lot of people ask me, why are you so consistent at going to the gym? The main reason is I love going to the gym. I'm not there going, I need to go to the gym today. I love it. I love doing what I do. I love training. I'm sat here now doing a push-pull superset session today. It's one of my favorite ways to train. It's intense. It gets a really good burn on. It gets a really good pump on. I just absolutely love it. So I might go to a different gym today, but I don't know if they've got a cross trainer. They must have. All right, there's a new gym opened in Kirkham, and I want to support it a little bit. So I've had 3 or 4 gym memberships at a time in the past. So I don't mind supporting other businesses, and I like mixing it up a little bit. So I might go there this morning. I might give because I know you can pay on the door a £5, or it's 25 quid a month, which is nothing for a gym membership. So I might go and have do a different session there. But I don't know if I've got time. The thing is, when you go somewhere new like that, I'll end up talking to the guy that owns it a little bit, and then I'll end up I'll end up talking to the guy that owns it a little bit, and then you've got to find your way a little bit. Whereas, because I go to Ribby and I've been going there for 10 years, I'm just in and out. I've not had my haircut for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I feel like an absolute tramp. Haircut coming Wednesday, I think that's going to be. Anyway, but yeah, Callum, you sort of said you like doing it in the morning, and that might be the habit you just need to, get up and get them out, get them done in the morning. Even if you can just get 5,000 or 6,000, then the rest of the day, you'll tick them over. Yeah. I train every other day so I can rest in between. I see people gym daily, which is correct. There's no right or wrong way. We need rest days, right? So you do need rest days, but it depends on the way you train. So if you're doing an all body session, train every other day, because then, but this is why we train different body parts. So I'm doing a push-pull superset session today, but I won't be training arms. Yes, you'll use your arms, but I won't be specifically doing anything around arms. It will be shoulders, chest, back. That is what I'm training today, right? Tomorrow, I'm doing arms, weights. So I'm not working my chest, so that's resting. I'm not working my shoulders. I'm not working my back. They're all resting while I just train my arms, biceps, triceps, right? I'm also going to be working my legs tomorrow because I'm doing spin, right? Wednesday, when I train, I will be doing push, right? Chest and shoulders. So my back's not working. My arms aren't working 100%. It's just this bit. On Thursday, I'll be training back. Lats under here, right? And my traps here, my trapezius, which is a little triangle bit that runs in the top of your back, right? So while I'm training that, my arms aren't getting too much of a workout. These my chest, and they're resting. So I'm training every day, but I'm not training every body part every day. And then Saturday, I just do spin. So I train my legs, the rest of my body rests. Sunday, I don't train at all, rest day, right? So, you can train 7 days a week if you want to. You don't necessarily need what we might call a full-on rest day, but you certainly need to learn to rest areas of your body, So you might be a runner. You might not even do weights, just might like going running. I'd always recommend doing weights as well, and you might run 5 days a week. The 2 days a week you don't run, you should still be going for good walks, right? Getting blood flow, getting circulation going. Because a rest day to me is I just rest my body from resistance. I don't rest my body from movement. I will always try and do 10,000 steps a day, So there's no right or wrong way. Starting my weight loss journey after diagnosis with diabetes. Yeah, if you get diagnosed with something like a health condition that is 9 times out of 10 going to be related to your weight, it should be a big kick up the bum. It genuinely should be a big kick up the bum. And remember, guys, I am a weight loss coach. If you need help, the most healthy, sustainable way to lose weight with the best results. And I mean that because I see so many people that, Daz there, I've lost 10 pounds in a week. And I hope Daz is smashing everything correctly. Right, lost 10 pounds in a week. And then they come back on in 3 months' time. I'm back on my journey. Then they come back on in 3. I notice you guys. I notice people that come on all the time doing all right. Then they disappear. Then they're doing all right. Another guy I've just popped up on my FYP. We're actually friends on TikTok. He has bounced from different weight loss journey to weight loss journey, left, right, and centre for the last 4 years. And he's bigger now than he ever was. Right. And he just pops up every 3-4 months. I'm back on it. He's back with Slimming World. I'm back with this. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm calorie counting. Now I'm doing this. And I'm just like, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Because if you'd just come on plan with me 4 years ago, you'd just be happy and smiling now in a healthy way and loving life. And not that I've asked him to come on plan. I don't ask anyone to go. It's if you want to. So if you're struggling with your weight loss and you want to get this, you're serious about doing this, get on plan with me. I've got 4 start dates left till 2025's out. Then it's January. So if you want to make, and you might be like, well, there's no point now. It's coming up Christmas. I'm telling you now, some of my biggest successes, right, have been people that have signed up around this time of year. Why? Because what they do is we use this time of year to build in the philosophy, get the plan, sort the calories out. It's like a little warm up, as it were. So they know exactly by the time we get to Christmas, they've improved on this. They're going to have a better Christmas because they'll go in there guilt free, and they've put their effort into learning everything. Then January comes around, boom, we're on it. Right? And January, February, March is such a pivotal point for weight loss for the majority of people. It really, really is. It is such, and it's not the be all and end all. And you can lose weight all year, of course you can. But it's like that diving board, January, February, March for the year, where life's quiet, social life's quiet. There's not really much else to do, and it really can lay this platform. I get so many people saying, I'm going to do this to kickstart my weight loss. And I get what they mean by that. They want to see a really good number on the scales to start off with, to boost the confidence a little bit and give them this platform to build from. Generally, that doesn't work because people do it in a crash diet way, right? People do it in a big crash diet sort of way, and it's just not sustainable, and they crash and burn. But for people on my plan, you can literally be nearly 2 stone down by the end of, I coach a stone a month, but after the bump of weight loss, after the bump of Christmas and this, that, and the other, bang, you can be nearly a couple of stone down. And it does pick you up, and it does. But you start now with me, January, there's no getting the plan, getting used to things, getting into the community. You're just on it. Right, so it's a really good time to sign up. So TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, get to my link tree, monthly one-to-one plan, $29.99 sign up, $29.99 a month. And I have said this week, anyone that signs up this week, you'll get a free protein box because the launch this week, right? And I've done an extra batch, and I'm not planning on pushing it to sell. I've done an extra 12 boxes this week. I'm going to do a few, but I've kind of put 4 to one side for sign-ups. If you sign up this week, it's $29.99 sign up, but you'll get a free 20 quid protein box. So it's basically a tenner to sign up this week. So come get signed up. TikTok profile, click my link tree, click the shop, Facebook page, YouTube page, Instagram. If you can't find it on YouTube, head to my Instagram, click on the link, click on monthly one-to-one sign up, get signed up, and we'll get you going a week today, right? Been trying to lose weight for 20 years, just diagnosed with type 2, high cholesterol, sleep apnea. Dominique Godfrey, get signed up on plan. Let's get you going. We will sort all that out. You can reverse your type 2 diabetes. You can reverse your sleep apnea. Won't happen overnight. This time next year, you can be diabetes free with no sleep apnea. You generally can, right? Honestly, if you're at that stage and you've got several medical conditions there that is down to your obesity, right? And I'm going to guess you're obese because generally people that have those many issues will be. Let's get it sorted out, Wednesday's day to sign up for the box. See if I get paid before. Callum, I don't think I'll sell out of the boxes this month. Any I don't sell out, I'll eat it myself or I'll give them away as thingy. So don't worry about that, mate. There should be plenty knocking about this month. Normally, I have 30 odd about 30 subscriptions. They fly out, and then 6 spare boxes, which I just flog. I've done 48 boxes this month. So I've got like 18 spare boxes left over, but I just thought I'd push them a little bit more. And then normally the December one can be quite popular because it's the Christmas theme box. And, you know, I put a few extra treats in and some extra treats in this box as well. All right. A few extra treats for November, a few extra treats for December, which I do each year. So, yeah, they shouldn't. I'm saying this now, they might sell out, Callum, but you should be fine if you sign up with it. Grab one within a week or so. Or if you just want one, mate, I'll just stick you to one. I'll stick one to one side for you. Just pay me when you can. It's fine. It's all good. Just let me know if you want one. Right, I'm out of here. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. I've got to go. Got to go to the gym. Got to get back. Get stuck into some work. Get some content done. Answer about it. Guys, I've had about 6 voice notes come in. Voice notes take me a little bit longer. You can voice note me if you want to. Absolutely fine. But obviously with a message, sometimes I can read them quickly in the gym. Sometimes I can, when I'm out and about, I'll have a quick glance at a message and get back to you. With a voice note, obviously, I can't listen to a voice note when anyone else is about because of GDPR and client confidentiality and all this, that, and the other. So if you have voice noted me, or if you ever voice note me in the future, and you voice note me about something urgent, text me. All right. Voice notes might take me like a few hours to get to be able to listen to them. All right. Just because it depends where I'm about. And I'm going to be out and about now for a few hours because I've got a few bits and pieces to do. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will catch you 8 p.m. tonight. I'm back. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Enjoy your Monday. It's a new weight loss week, new set of calories in the bank, steps to zero. Lay those foundations, which I'll always say, good Monday, Tuesday should lead into you know, the rest of the week kind of ticking over. It doesn't always happen, but 9 times out of 10 it should do. And I will see you at 8 p.m. this evening. Need help with your weight loss? Get signed up. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. First thing on my link tree is an inquiry form. If you don't want to sign up straight away, if you just want to touch base with me, ask some questions, send over an inquiry form, and I'll send you all the details. TikTok. Have a great day. I'll see you at 8 p.m. if you're free. Facebook, YouTube. Have a great day. I'll see you at 8 p.m. if you're free.